Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The honorable judges and fellow debaters. Introduce our team. I'm Febiana. As a first speaker, I will talk about definition merits. And our second speaker is Melati. We'll discuss about the negative impact of early marriage. And our third speaker is Hannah. We'll talk about the positive impact of marriage restriction. Ladies and gentlemen, we the opposition team legally, totally, strongly, and absolutely disagree with our motion today, which says this House would eliminate age restriction for marriage. From the motion, we have 2 points. 1. Age restriction, a legal limitation on the minimum age required to enter into a marriage. 2. Marriage, a legal recognized union between two people. This motion proposed that there should be no minimum age requirement for marriage. Marriage is a permanent relationship between two people that is legally recognized by the community concerned based on applicable marriage regulation. Early marriage is a marriage that takes place at an age below the applicable regulation. Based on Indonesian government law, the minimum age of marriage for men and women in Indonesia is 90 years old. According to the .com Jakarta 17 2023, 176 cases of children in Ponorogo, East Java, who applied for a marriage dispensation at the religions course. Based on explanation from the Ponorogo Education Office, Nurhadi Nahuri, the applicants were not students but junior high school graduates who had not continued their studies. Of the total 176 children who were allowed to marry early in Ponorogo, 125 were married because they were pregnant first, and some had even given birth. Meanwhile, 51 other children chose early marriage for the reason that they already had a boyfriend or girlfriend and chose marriage rather than continuing their studies. Ladies and gentlemen, you can imagine that with the existence of marriage restriction, many children violate the rules of marriage. What if there are no restriction on marriage? What will the future of children be like? Early marriage not only has the potential to cause economic and social problems, but also health problems such as stunting and productive health, especially for women. Therefore, the government encourages teenagers to avoid marrying young. Ladies and gentlemen, most people, even countries, discourage early marriage. The reason is because of the impact and risk that can occur, especially if there is coercion from outside parties in the marriage. The purpose of marriage age regulation is to protect the health of young brides and grooms, so early marriage is not a solution. If there are no restrictions on marriage, many children will marry young. Young marrying has a lot of negative impacts. According to the National Population and Family Planning Agency, there are two things that everyone needs to prepare before marriage, namely biological and psychological factor. Biological factors are physical, fitness, and maximum nutrition. This is important before someone builds a household, especially for women who will experience pregnancy and childbirth. According from Aisyah Amalia et al., early marriage can have negative impacts on various aspects, such as health, psychological, social, and economic. 1. Health. Early marriage can increase the risk of maternal and infant mortality during childbirth. The risk is due to the mother's underdeveloped pelvis, which can cause tearing of the uterine mouth and bleeding. 2. Psychological. Early marriage can increase the risk of mental health disorder such as depression, anxiety disorder, psychological trauma, and dissociative disorder. 3. Social. Early marriage can lead to social isolation, especially in women. 4. Economic. Couples who marry early do not have the ability to generate sufficient income, which can lead to poverty and economic dependence on the family. It can be seen that if there are no restrictions on marriage, there will be a lot of negative impacts that harm children. Ladies and gentlemen, women and men are encouraged to marry at the ideal age because they are able to think maturely. Then, the existence of marriage restriction is very good for human's welfare. 1. Protection of the rights of children and teenagers. Limits at the minimum age of marriage protect children and teenagers from early marriage that can interfere with education, health, and psychological development. 2. Legal protection. Legal restriction on certain status or conditions. Prohibition of polygamy without consent. Prevent abuse of rights and provide protection for vulnerable parties. 3. Health and well-being. A minimum age of marriage helps prevent health risks, especially for women, such as complication of pregnancy and childbirth at a young
4.
age.
Improving education and career. With the age limit, people have more time to complete their education and build a career before getting married. And the solution to this problem is 1. Protect children's rights. Children have the right to freedom to go to school until completing to have a career. 2. Importance of sex education for children and teenagers. 3. The existence of law and must be established and continue marriage restriction.
Honorable judges, the government has failed to provide compelling arguments in favor of eliminating age restriction for marriage. They have overlooked the critical importance of protecting minors and ensuring their well-being. While individual liberty is important, it must be balanced with the need to safeguard vulnerable population. By upholding age restriction, we can help to create a more just and equitable society. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.